Every single day, 17,000 older adults in America end up in the emergency room because of a fall. Meanwhile, in Japan, people in their 70s and 80s are still walking upstairs, getting up from the floor, and living independently without fear. The difference? Flexibility. Between 50 and 70, the average person loses 40% of hip flexibility, 30% in the spine, and 25% in the ankles. That tightness causes falls, chronic pain, and that feeling of being trapped in a body that doesn't move right. Drop a comment and tell me, what's your biggest fear about losing mobility? I read every comment. And hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. You're about to learn 5 Japanese stretches that take 12 minutes and address the exact tight spots that lead to falls and pain. No equipment, no gym, and you can start today. Let's dive into the first stretch that addresses something 90% of people over 50 have but don't even know about. Your hamstrings are probably 8 to 12 inches shorter than they were 20 years ago, and that's why your back hurts every morning. Every time you sit, your hamstrings are in a shortened position. Over years, they adapt to that length. When tight, they pull your pelvis backward, flattening your lower back and creating chronic pain. Worse yet, short hamstrings reduce your stride length, which means smaller steps and dramatically increased fall risk. In 1953, Wataru Nagai developed Mako-ho, meaning true light stretching. This targets your entire posterior chain, hamstrings, calves, and lower back fascia in one movement. Here's how you do it. Sit on the floor with legs extended straight. Flex your feet so toes point toward the ceiling. Breathe in and sit tall. As you exhale, hinge forward from your hips, not your lower back. You're folding like a book, keeping your back straight. Reach toward your feet, shins, or knees, wherever you can comfortably reach. The goal isn't distance, it's maintaining that straight spine. Hold for 30 to 60 seconds, breathing deeply. What makes Mako-ho effective is how it decompresses your lumbar spine while lengthening your entire posterior chain. Studies show tight hamstrings directly cause chronic lower back pain in adults over 50. The biggest mistake? Rounding your back to touch your toes. That defeats the purpose. The other mistake is bouncing, which causes micro tears. Hold steady and breathe. If sitting on the floor is difficult, sit on a folded towel. Use a yoga strap around your feet to maintain that straight spine. If hamstrings are really tight, keep a slight bend in your knees. Start with 30 seconds daily. Work up to 2 minutes. The goal is eliminating back pain and adding 3 to 4 inches to your stride length. Now that we've opened the back of your body, let's address the front, where decades of sitting have created a problem that makes standing up straight physically impossible. There's a muscle in your hip that gets shorter every year you spend sitting, and when it gets tight enough, standing up straight becomes physically impossible. It's called your hip flexor. Every hour you sit, this muscle is contracted. After decades, it pulls your pelvis forward, creating that hunched posture. When tight, your body compensates by arching your lower back, which is why chronic back pain never goes away. In the 1970s, Japanese physical therapists adapted traditional seiza and added a backward lean that creates one of the most intense hip flexor stretches you can do. Here's how it works. Kneel on the floor, bring your knees together, and fold your feet so the tops are flat with toes pointing backward. Lower your hips until you're sitting on your heels. This is basic seiza. If this feels intense, stay here for 20 seconds. Now place your hands on the floor behind you, fingers pointing away. Slowly lean backward, shifting weight onto your hands. Keep your hips pressing toward your heels. You should feel an intense stretch along the front of your thighs and deep in your hip flexors. If you can go further, lower to your forearms. The most advanced version is lying all the way back, but most people need weeks to get there. Hold wherever you are for 20 to 45 seconds. Research shows hip flexor tightness directly correlates with chronic lower back pain in adults over 50. This stretch improves hip extension, which you need for standing straight, walking with full stride, and climbing stairs. The most common mistake is forcing the lean too quickly. Your muscles will tighten defensively. The second mistake is letting your knees separate. Keep them together to protect your joints. If too intense, Place a cushion between your hips and heels. Week 1. Practice seiza for 30 seconds. Week 2. Add a slight lean. Weeks 3 and 4. Gradually increase your lean angle. Japanese people in their 80s can still touch their toes and look over their shoulder to back up a car. Americans the same age often can't do either. The difference? This one movement. Your spine has 24 movable segments designed to move independently. But with age, those segments start moving as one rigid block. That's when bending over becomes difficult and your body feels stiff. The Japanese adapted this into their national programs in the 1980s. It's called cat-cow, and millions practice it every morning. What makes this powerful is how it wakes up each vertebra and restores segmental movement. Start on your hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. For the cow phase, breathe in deeply. Drop your belly toward the floor, lift your chest forward, and let your tailbone reach toward the ceiling. For the cat phase, exhale completely. Round your spine toward the ceiling. Tuck your tailbone under, draw your navel to your spine, and let your head drop naturally. Flow smoothly between these positions for 10 to 15 repetitions. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. This creates a wave through every vertebra. What makes cat-cow effective is how it creates flexion and extension through every spinal segment. Most exercises move your spine as one unit. This creates individual vertebral movement, the flexibility that actually matters. It lubricates your discs and improves proprioception. Research shows spinal mobility directly correlates with balance ability. When your spine moves fluidly, your body responds to shifts in balance. When rigid, every movement becomes a fall risk. The most common mistake is moving too fast. Each movement should take 3 to 5 seconds. The second mistake is only moving your upper back. Focus on moving your entire spine as one wave. If getting on the floor is difficult, place a cushion under your knees. If your wrists hurt, use a chair seat instead. Start with 10 slow repetitions each morning. Build to 20. This maintains the flexibility that lets you look behind you and move without stiffness. Your spine is now mobile, but there's a joint most people ignore until they fall. 70% of falls happen because of weak ankles, not weak legs. This 3-minute stretch fixes the problem before it becomes a broken hip. Your ankle constantly makes tiny adjustments to keep you balanced. Every time you step on uneven ground, your ankle responds in milliseconds. But with age, those responses get slower. Your ankle loses its ability to sense where it is in space, and that's when you trip over nothing. The Japanese have practiced ankle conditioning for centuries. Millions do ashikubi mawashi, which means ankle rotation. It's considered essential fall prevention. Here's how you do it. Sit in seiza or in a chair. Lift one foot slightly off the ground. Slowly rotate your ankle in complete circles. Do 10 circles clockwise, then 10 counterclockwise. Now point your toes as far forward as possible. Hold for 2 seconds. Then flex your toes back toward your shin. Hold for 2 seconds. Repeat 10 times. Switch to your other ankle and repeat. The whole thing takes 3 minutes, but dramatically reduces fall risk. What makes this effective is ankle proprioception, your body's ability to know where your joints are without looking. Research shows proprioception decline in ankles is the #1 predictor of fall risk. This also strengthens the intrinsic muscles of your foot and ankle. You have over 20 muscles and tendons around your ankle. Modern shoes and flat surfaces let these weaken. Ankle rotations wake them up. Studies show 3 minutes of daily ankle mobility reduces fall risk by 30 to 40%. The most common mistake is moving too quickly. Slow down and feel the stretch. The second mistake is doing tiny circles. Make them as big as your ankle allows. For an advanced variation, try toes tucked seiza. Tuck your toes under so you're sitting on the balls of your feet. This creates intense stretch. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. This is the difference between confidently walking on uneven surfaces versus being terrified of tripping. Now, let's address the posture problem that makes people look old and feel weak. That hunched forward posture you see in older adults isn't inevitable aging. It's reversible muscle imbalance, and this stretch fixes it in 6 weeks. Here's what most people don't know. That rounded posture is caused by tight chest muscles and weak upper back muscles pulling your shoulders forward. Every hour at a computer or phone creates this. Over years, it becomes permanent and makes you look 20 years older. The Japanese created Kenkukatsu Yoseru, which means drawing shoulder blades together. Stand or sit with your spine tall. Let your arms hang naturally, or place hands behind your head. Now squeeze your shoulder blades together as if holding a pencil between them. As you squeeze, lift your chest slightly and keep your chin neutral. Don't let your chin jut forward or lower back arch. Hold that squeeze for 5 seconds, release for 2 seconds. Repeat 10 to 15 times. What makes this effective is how it targets muscles weakened by modern life. Your rhomboids, middle trapezius, and posterior deltoids. These pull your shoulders back and keep your chest open. When weak, gravity wins and your shoulders round forward. Research shows forward head posture adds 10 pounds of pressure to your neck for every inch forward. That's why chronic neck pain never goes away. This exercise reverses that angle. The Japanese don't develop this problem to the same degree. Cultural practices like floor sitting and bowing naturally engage these upper back muscles. Western lifestyle allows them to atrophy. The most common mistake is shrugging shoulders up instead of squeezing them together. Focus on backward motion. The second mistake is arching your lower back. Keep your core engaged. Try this lying face down on the floor to feel the muscles working more clearly. Start with 10 repetitions daily. By week 3, increase to 15. In month 2, add holds for 10 seconds. This changes how old you look, eliminates neck pain, and improves breathing. Now you've learned all 5 stretches. Let me show you how to fit these into your daily routine. Here's the truth. You don't need an hour. You need 12 minutes. Morning routine: ankle rotations, cat-cow, and shoulder blade squeezes. 6 minutes total. Evening routine: makoho, seiza with backward lean, and cat-cow again. Another 6 minutes. That's 12 minutes that completely change how your body feels. The Japanese didn't discover magic. They simply never stopped moving in ways that maintain what they were born with. The difference between independence at 80 and dependence at 70 often comes down to 12 minutes a day. What's stopping you from starting today? Drop a comment with your biggest flexibility concern. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Your future self will thank you.